Imprecision is one of the most infuriating problems in all of video game history. It's frustrating when you can't get somewhere, especially somewhere that you can see in the game, because there's an invisible wall, or you can't do something because the game just doesn't have a control function for it, or it doesn't interpret your actions properly. Most of you out there have brains and can use your brains to think about things. You can conceptualize things like dodging a bullet, or jumping over a platform, or over a fence, and the game just won't let you sometimes, or maybe it just does it wrong. There's nothing more frustrating than that. But some games get it right. The side-scroller genre used to be the everything for video games, but the recent drive for the third dimension and photorealism in both graphics and in-game concept has muscled much of that genre into smaller markets with smaller audiences. Sure, the odd outlier makes it onto the shelf from time to time, such as Rayman Origins, but primarily these sorts of games have been relegated to the downloadable space. As the third dimension bursts in popularity, the unfortunate side effect of imprecision comes with it, spreading like herpes in an orgy. And just as when participating in an orgy, most people just accept it. Without access to some sort of device which can interpret omnidirectional movement, we're forced to use only 2 sticks to operate the X, Y, and Z axis for targeting, and often games simply throw in a lock-on feature because imprecision. Like I said, shit's imprecise. While all the 3D games sit around their big 3-dimensional table discussing how to solve the problem of precision, side-scrollers really don't have that issue. Not the good ones, anyways. My favorite example of this is the Dishwasher Vampire's Smile. This game, developed by Ska Studios and released to Xbox Live Arcade on April 6, 2011, is a sequel to the Dishwasher Dead Samurai. Both games featured notably messy kill animations, sketchy character models, and an entire world war's worth of blood. Or maybe even 2 world wars. Not the third one, we don't really know how much blood's in that one yet, but it's probably gonna be a lot. So how then, you ask, is a single thing precise about this zany, gory game?
The right thumbstick is like the happiness stick. Some might even call it a joystick.
The right thumbstick is like that friend of yours who just gets everything you say. Even if you don't really say it properly, they just understand. They just always know what you mean. In the Dishwasher Vampire Smile, yes, I have to say the every time. It's in the freaking title, okay? It's not like, hey, Dishwasher Vampire Smile, comma the. It's literally the dishwasher. It's in the freaking marketplace. When carrying every weapon but the Decan Toaster and Violence Hammer, tilting the right analog stick in any direction will cause your character to dodge in that direction. Keep in mind this is a 2D game, so up is up, down is down, flat is flat, etc. That means dodging up means essentially teleporting to the sky. Okay, if you don't get the concept, up can go higher. That's how up works.
So you're telling me that this game has a dodge function? I mean, most games have dodge functions or some sort of way to escape things. What's the big deal? What's the hullabaloo?
You can dodge forever. You can fly with this dodge, you can dash around the whole entire room, go back and forth between 2 enemies, or just write your name in the sky. Everything except the most powerful of explosions can be entirely evaded if you time your dodge right. Often many games are criticized for not letting you do what you want. How many times have you tried to squeeze your controller out of frustration, like smashing its little microchip brains out will somehow get to make it work better? Because it won't interpret your gestures with the same clarity your brain imagines them with.
I'm gonna go with 23.
This game doesn't have that experience, ever. You see an incoming attack, you dodge it. If you were too slow, you just got slashed in the face, or kicked in the dick, or hugged by a zombie, or blown up by a shark mech. That level of precision is so rarely found in games, much less in these adrenaline-charged hack-and-slash combo junkie games.
I'll admit it, I'm a combo junkie. But I don't need no rehab!
Now this game, entirely not about washing dishes or vampires or even smiling, is incredibly combat heavy. That's a given, it's a combat, you know, it's a hack and slasher, slashy slash combo. However, many hack and slashers are about eradicating everything on the screen before you even have to dodge. Not this game. It's impossible to manage all the enemies and their attacks on the screen at once. Even with guns or magics, you have to dodge. You can't escape it.
You can't escape escaping. You can't escape using the dodge to escape. That's something you can't escape. You can escape by dodging. You just can't escape having to escape by dodging. I got it.
So you're thinking, what, I just wait there, then dodge at the right moment? No, fuck that, get out there and get him! Dishwasher Vampire Smile never stops. You're always cutting off a ninja's head, smashing a zombie's face in, or dismantling a cyborg, and you'll never stop dodging throughout. You see, since the dodge puts you exactly where you want, pretty much like teleporting or like a blink spell in other games. You can control entire screens worth of bad guys even while you're only hitting 1 or 2 at a time. Afraid the game will lose it a bit when you've got too many enemies flying around?
Ska Studios has an app for that.
When dodging towards enemies in the air, you'll be given a slight bit of magnetism. Not so much that it doesn't matter where you aim, but enough that if you were clearly aiming for a particular enemy, you'll teleport your sword straight up his ass. Or diagonally if you want. This slight magnetism ensures that, again, the game never lets you down. You can miss a connecting attack, but the game won't drop it for you. You have to be the one to drop it. The ability to manage enemies sent flying through the air means every living second of this game is a kick-ass action movie. Every movement is a fuck yeah moment, and every time you dodge a boss and follow up with a kick-ass combo, you're like, eat shit and die, because you're just so filled with rage, as we all are. Be careful you don't start crying. Rage tears are bad for your corneas. And you end up wearing these all day and getting asked to solve math problems and just perpetuating all sorts of horrible stereotypes. It's always cool to be ripping people in half on the ground, but aerial combat is the key to the true sense of power and freedom granted by the precision of this dodge mechanic. With that slight magnetism, you can do stuff like this without it being some sort of canned combo. You can make it happen if you want, and if you don't, stick to the ground. If there's a guy about to smash your body parts, dodge behind him and eviscerate his spleen. You won't need it anymore. He just got his head sliced off. Sociologists talk about instant gratification being big in this generation. How about constant gratification? And that's what the Dishwasher Vampire Smile is. It's constant gratification because the game just gets out of your way. It doesn't force you to play it in one way or another. It gives you weapons like a sword or machetes and says, hey, these are pretty cool. You may want to use these to maybe slice some bad guys. What do you think? And then it'll give you weapons like a giant syringe or the water gun and toaster combo known as the Deccan Toaster. In fact, one of my favorite weapons is literally a pair of scissors that can come apart into sort of like dual-wielded blades, and then they come together and you can use sort of a slicing scissors cutting attack. That's just super awesome. In the main game, you have 2 sets of 2 weapons each that you can switch between on the fly. It essentially allows you to switch between 4 weapons if you're quick enough. So really, there's not too much stopping you from using just about every weapon in your arsenal at even just a moment's notice.
All this action centered around the dodge mechanic makes the game this vehicle for this constant explosion of blood and fantastic hack and slash gameplay.
Now go play this game. It's only like $10 on Xbox Live Arcade, and it's fucking amazing for single player or for co-op. On top of the amazing gameplay, there's actually a pretty cool story about this girl who's killed by her brother, who's an immortal samurai who's given immortality and superpowers from a chef who's also immortal. Though the story does hang together pretty well despite its absurdity, I'll just let you experience it for yourself. If anything, you could just play it just to kill stuff. A lot of stuff. Stuff like this, and this, and this, and this, and that guy, and that thing, and that, I don't even know what the hell that was.
Whatever you're trying to kill, the game's gonna let you do it. However you damn well please. Perhaps the third dimension will never be as precise as the second. And who knows, maybe there's already been tons of games who have gotten it right and I just haven't played them yet. Or maybe I have and I just wasn't doing it right. All I know is right now, the second dimension is where I'm at for precise gaming. And the refrigerator is where I'm at for some kind of meat, I guess, because that's pretty much all I have. And I'm just fine with that.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, and the people of other genders which I cannot make names for, was the very first episode of Rated S for Sandwich. And you're like, oh, you've already made like 42 other videos. Yeah, I know, but those are sort of part of the suite, right? Like those are sort of kind of like the you can watch these are pretty cool, but the main feature's coming on later today, more like later in the month. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Expect to see more of this kind of stuff down the road.